Engine, which is a tech platform that will do analysis on your business culture. So I'm actually going to go into the slide where everyone, all the presenters have had, that culture is important, and then they move on. So I'm going to go in that slide and get into that there. So in my previous life as a geophysicist, I learned three things. I learned, first of all, you cannot be on the outside trying to figure out what goes on in the inside. And as you can see in the geophysical section, like this seismic section, here is the sea floor. There's no way you can try and predict any of that if you don't have data. Lesson number 2, if you know what you're looking for, you will find it faster. Now, I don't know if you have any geophysics here, but anyone can see where the oil is here? No? Nobody? I'm just presenting to you the biggest gas field in the Norwegian continental shelf. Here's the flat spot. Here's the troll field. Billions of dollars coming our way. So if you know what to look for, you find it faster. Third lesson, the one with the best data wins. Now, in my present life, as a culture analyst, I find that the same thing is true. If you're looking at a culture, you need to dig in there and get yourself some really hardcore good facts. And second learning, if you know what to look for, you will find it faster. If you look for an innovation culture, you will define what that looks like and you will analyze and explore and find it. If you're looking for a customer service culture, you will look for, you know what to look for and you will find that. So 4 years ago, we decided to make this into a technology that will help leaders to do this fast, efficient, and get going with their culture. Because we realized that culture is a big barrier if you don't know how to deal with it. And all of you that are leaders will probably have experienced already that this takes time, and we know if it takes time, it costs money. So we need to approach culture as a system, and if you approach something as a system, you need intelligence. So here's how it goes. Every company or every organization probably has a defined position they want to fill and have. They have a strategy to get there, and they have a brand or a reputation they want to take care of. And then there's culture. We all realize intuitively that the culture has something to do with it. Well, here's where the trouble really starts. Because when we talk about culture, do we talk about the required culture that you actually need in order to do all this well? Or do we talk about the actual culture that is here, there, and this with your people? Or are you led to think that the perceived culture is something you have? I think we are innovative. I don't think so. I think we're collaborative. Well, you know, who cares? And the communicative culture, the one is on your website. Chances are that these are 4 different sets of data. And if you don't find out which one you're dealing with at every time you're discussing this, chances are you're losing time and money. So we need to dig into this and really make it understandable and visible. And this is how we do it. We have a scientific approach, of course. We are scientists. So we have defined culture as the sum of the values, priorities that people hold. So if we were one company and here's the leadership team, we would probably experience that there are some different values, priorities in this field than it is in this field. And these are things we need to understand, and we need to get data in order to understand it. So we take people and we expose them to our design survey where you are exposed to values dilemmas. So which are more important, to be the innovative or to be the collaborative or to be the ethical? Which one? Or you, Frank, talked about the trust. Where's trust in this? Everyone thinks trust is important, but how important is it? Because we know that you only act on the 5, 6, 7 values out of the 100 values there are, and those are the values you act on. Those are the values you impact your team with. Those are the values you lead with, and these are the values we need to capture, put them into our framework, and make it a culture map, which would actually display the actual culture. Imagine having a map like that for your team, understanding what really goes on, what the priorities are. And that's what we need to dig into. And why is that important now? All day we have heard that the future is not like it used to be. The future is triggered by really key dominating factors that is challenging business to continue to do work as it already is doing. So the future culture requests comes from the factors that is really challenging each and every company and organization to do things differently. And here's the first one. We've heard all day that AI is in there, it's in our businesses. MIT claims that with large likelihood, AI is going to be in every organization in the near future. But they also say that with large statistical impact will be people there. So people and AI will have to figure it out together. So what does that mean for our culture? What kind of culture do we need in order to deal with that AI impact? How do we do it? The guy next door is going to be a robot, and on the other office there's going to be 2 millennials. You are in the middle of it. How do you deal with that? What kind of culture is successful when it comes to that? So we have identified a couple of values that we know will be important for dealing with that type of the future culture. We know learning is going to be highly critical. We know that hierarchy will not be able to survive that kind of culture. It needs to be flat and empowered. We need clarity in deliveries. We need people that are in teams, probably cross-functional, and we need efficiency. Speed is going to be absolutely critical in order for us to compete in the future. So those values we want to be looking at when we look at future cultures. But there are other factors. The sustainability in the future is not to be avoided. There's no way businesses can survive if they're not into the sustainability. And we need quality in order for companies to do that well. We need focus on sustainability, and we need people that are accountable and can be trusted. The third factor is probably the most interesting for us because it just happened and it plays out beautifully in breaking news and CNN and Trumps and Brexit and all that, and it's a mess. There's no way we can trust data anymore. You know, we all looked at those scandals and we are starting to wonder, is this the end of democracy? Can we trust democratic elections anymore? And how do we as CEOs take care of the ethics of this in our company? How do we protect ourselves? What do we trust and what we don't trust? So we need cultures that are totally into the trust and the openness. How open should you be? Who should you be open with? And how do you make sure that the ethical part is part of your future culture? And the fourth driver is the diversity. How can we create cultures that are able to work faster in a more complex world with people they don't know on issues they don't have worked on yet? This is hard, and it's going to take leadership and a totally new type of leadership. So the way we do empathy, complementarity, and diversity as part of our culture will be highly interesting. And now is when we use technology to analyze all this, because we're going to put all this together and say, these are things that I want in my company in the future because it's going to prepare me well for what comes my way. We have coded all this, so these are the values we believe are highly relevant for you in the future. And then Culture Engine will display the survey that all of us just took, and we see the results. So what do we see here? What will be strongly present in this culture? Well, we already know that if we were one company, we would have high scores on team development, innovation, and complementarity. Good. We may not have to focus that much on that because it's in our culture. However, what's missing? What would you want to pursue if you were CEO of this company? The ethics. It's not good. We don't have it yet. We're not focused enough on it. So, what to do? The ethics and the diversity is a problem. And in order to prepare for the future, we probably want to build that. So what do? We're now putting design on our culture, which is where you start to build the culture that you need. Well, what we do is we send out individual reports to each and every one of you. Well, then you will receive your personal report based on what you scored. And you will find your score on the future culture code. And then you will know what your problem is, or what you can really contribute to the company. And if ethics is short on your score as well, then you look it up and you find out what it really means, and you can educate yourself or your team or whatever to what that truly means and how can we do that more in the future. In addition, you probably would like some more people. And then what do you look for? Well, you look for people that are highly aligned with the future culture code, because that's going to help you in building the future culture. So here we can sort people. These are all people. These are the applicants for the new position that you have just announced. And these are the ones who has the most alignment to that future culture. And here's the one that didn't really think those values were that important. So who would you pick? Right. If you're into spending a lot of time and money in development, you probably pick someone here. But probably you would pick someone at the top of the list because you know they are aligned to the culture that you had just decided to build. If you have some resources, some additional thinking, if you're really going to expand really quick, you may want to buy a company. And that means you will make those companies take the culture survey and you will look at their profile, their alignment with the future culture. And which company would you buy here? Would you buy a company that aligns with a code like this? Doesn't have the empathy though, so there's a catch there. Or would you buy this, which have no diversity, not much ethics, but has a ton of team development and complementarity? Which one? That one, right. Yeah, and then you could build the empathy, or hoping to, or you maybe have other people that do that. So the point is, getting the data up to what you really do when it comes to culture. If you are recruiting, if you are developing, if you are leading, or if you are merging, you really need to know what you are looking for in order to find it. So our pitch for the day is to run a hackathon, which is a really fast and efficient and low-cost way to find out what is it that I have? What is my present culture, the actual culture? And then you can align that to a culture that you want to design, or you can pick up the future culture code, and then you have a half a day to get some actions up to really where you can fill the gap. So we are here, Gina is here, Björn is here, I'm here, we have a stand out there, and we invite you to come test our survey if you're interested, and then you will be sent a personal report, and you can see how your values align to the future culture code that we have designed. So any questions?